What if you could silence the noise of the world and access inner bliss? What if you knew the shining formulas for overcoming the enormous challenges that every soul faces? Welcome everyone, I'm Shakti Durga. Mystery School podcast, Ancient Wisdom for Everyday Life, will explore the ancient wisdom of the East and West, sharing stories and music, channeling light beings, scanning the unseen world, learning useful spiritual tools, and bringing forth peace, love, purpose, and abundance. In Mystery School, we co-create and share sacred frequencies, sending ripples of love that empower new possibilities to ignite our spirits, overcome obstacles, manifest our most inspired life, a life where your challenges become doorways to your deepest truth, where you anchor yourself in clarity and presence, not from your pain, but from the doors it opens into the deepest wisdom that's already within you. Your path has already begun. It's right beneath your feet. Let's illuminate that path together.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a fabulous, fabulous show. You heard a little bit from the host of the show, Shakti Durga, just a few minutes ago. And we were chatting a bit before we got on, just a very short little bit. But it's no surprise that tonight's topic is about navigating times of change. And so often we think about times of change and we think about, it depends on who you are, or it depends on your perspective, or it depends on your view. It depends on so many things. But sometimes we think about it and what comes to mind is personal change. Other times we think about it and we think about world change, global change. Other times we think about it and we just, the day-to-day, dealing with what is showing up in our lives, the moments of it. But in all of that, what do we believe? What are we going to hold? What happens? And boy, we didn't get to talk about this too much before the break. But what happens when life takes a turn? Oh my gosh, what a great topic for now, and great topic to talk about.
Yeah.
There's so many turns in the road. What is it, the Beatles song? The long and winding road.
Long and winding road, yeah, exactly. That's
wow.
all of our lives, don't you think? Like, I don't know anyone who hasn't had to sometimes dance with a change that they either didn't expect, that they would like to fight with their whole being, or they just are forced into a change where it's really, you have no power to stop it.
Yeah.
So that might be, for instance, where you're in a marriage or a relationship and the other person ends it and you have no say in it. It's just done and there's nothing you can do. You're in a change. Another change might be that you have a diagnosis of something that you just never saw coming. You've been a healthy person, you've looked after yourself, and then you've got something that's just atrocious that you wouldn't wish on anybody. And it's like, what is going on? It's going to change your life. Other times it's businesses that go into weird shapes, or the political climate just drops out from under you, as it does for people in all different countries of the world. And suddenly there's a lot of fear and tyranny going on. I mean, there's so many ways that we could be experiencing change in our lives. And so my offering to you today, everybody, is that the best and safest place for us to go through change is, yes, we're going to feel our feelings. Of course we are. We're going to get angry. We're going to feel like blaming someone. We're going to feel victimized. We're going to feel all that stuff. But that is not the place we want to end up. That is the place that says a transition has just started. And if I learn to speak universe, I'm going to be able to follow this unexpected weird twist of fate to a better reality than I ever thought could be possible. And for that, I don't necessarily mean that the outer world is going to be exactly how you want it to be. What I'm talking about is what I believe the purpose of life is, which is spiritual development and
Yeah.
expansion of consciousness and the realization that you yourself are a divine being and part of the oneness. And so, for that recognition to happen, we've actually got to get cracked out of the way we've thought about things. And one of the best ways that the universe can utilize to do that is to crack you out of what you thought was going to happen. And for somebody to actually serve your soul by putting something that to your ego feels abominable, and it feels like a death or a betrayal or a whatever it might be. But then we're going to dance with that. And the outcome we're seeking, sure, there'll be some physical outcome things that we seek. There'll be some, I'd rather be healthy. I'd rather my business was successful. I'd rather be in a good partnership. But it's about, well, the universe might be saying to you, you've outgrown whatever it
Yeah.
is that you were in and that you were doing your everyday life, but you were kind of half asleep doing your everyday life. So if we shake things up, then you get to be more conscious and you get to choose your reality more than you have before. And I've got to tell you that getting through a transition like this, particularly one you did not choose, uh, is a hero's journey. And it brings in all the mystery school teachings of all the different parts of the world where people go on a hero's journey and they go from the safe city or the safe family or whatever, and they go on a quest and they have to find some, golden apples or whatever they've got to find. And there's always crazy stuff that they've got to deal with before they can get the golden apples or the golden fleece or whatever the stories are from the teaching tradition that you're looking at. And along the way, the hero always transforms. And they come back not just with the prize, but they come back enriched in some way, spiritually, personally, in every way. They come back different to who they were when they left. So that's the thing to think about and to not get caught up in bitterness, blame,
Yeah.
and negativity and anger. Don't get caught in that vitriol. That's just, it's so easy to do because we feel it in our body. We feel the grinding feeling of someone's just betrayed me. Someone's just kicked me when I'm down. That sort of feeling. Someone's just done something that is so far out of my paradigm of what's acceptable that I then have a choice. I can hate that person, or I can say, this is the postman of karma delivering me something that is due to transform me. And that I can go on a transformational journey, and it'll have its ups and downs. It'll have its times where you're doing really well and other times where you're back in, I hate the bastard. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
That's right.
Might have to edit that bit out.
I know. I think we
um,
can leave that in, but that's
yeah,
exactly. But what you're saying is it's so pertinent. It's so
yes.
important. And when you were speaking, the energy, the only word that I could come up with, and this is so synchronistic. Starting last week, I went through a process. Linda's going through a process. We're back in a place that's bringing up old wounds.
Right, yeah.
Thursday night, I do a show called No Regrets. This morning, I get up at 4 a.m. I listen to 6 of my spiritual teachers. What do you think? All 6 of them, different people on the TV, all talking about the same thing. And then here we are, right? But there's a reason we're speaking about it.
Yeah.
See, I want to ask you this question because I love that you're talking about this.
Mm.
I dialed that wrong phone number in 2003. I wasn't ready for this journey. This was not on my play card.
Mm.
But I want to ask you this because you mentioned it. April 1st of 2004, 6 months to the day, I came down with a mystery disease.
Oh.
Now, this is to your point. That disruption, that devastation, you're looking at, I'm strong as an ox. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I've done it all. And then I had no control over my
Mm,
body.
mm,
So let's get back to your point, because
yeah.
I would not be here today had that not happened. And I went on a spiritual journey because I was seeking, what is the
Mm,
answer? What
yeah.
is the answer? And I didn't
Yeah.
even know the question.
Yeah. That's right. We don't at those times. And sometimes the question is, how can I survive that? Right at the beginning, it is, how can I
It
survive?
was, yeah.
And then it's, how can I deal with my emotions? And then it's, how can I put together a new framework to move forward with what I've been through, knowing that I'm changing as an individual and that I can choose to carry discord and disharmony and regret and all that with me, or I can engage in a process that will help me release that and transform to a higher vibration of beingness. So it's not even just thinking, it's actually that our felt sensed experience of beingness is at a different place than what it is before. So that's the sort of thing. And there'll be a phase in the middle of this dealing with change. If we're doing it as a spiritual, we just say, look, I've got no option. I have to go on a spiritual journey because it's just so
That
like I
was
never would
it.
have chosen this. So on that spiritual journey, the first thing probably after all the emotion will become a bit of a sense of a fog of you just don't know what to do. And so that is a time to not do anything. Like if you can
Mm.
avoid any planning or anything, just wait and do spiritual practices. Now, when you're in this state, I've got to say that the mind's tendency to devolve into fear is quite strong, and that the mass consciousness fear-based reality supports that devolution in the mind's functioning to go into the most negative possible interpretation about yourself. I'm a loser, I'm hopeless, there's nothing I can ever do right, or those people are so terrible, it's all their fault, and I'm just going to hate them forever. So there's we just don't want to go there because it's toxic for our bodies, minds, and spirits. And I love what you've just said, that because you've moved back to where you grew up,
Yeah.
the things you didn't even know were still in there are coming to the surface to be healed and cleared.
Yeah.
So this is part of the healing journey, the hero's journey of, for me, when I say the word healing, it's not just about ending a disease process or getting rid of some pain that's emotional that we didn't know was lodged inside, but it's just about that transmutation and transformation into all we could be. And we have no idea what that is because our consciousness is not in connection with the divine that we be.
Mm.
You don't just go, oh, I'm divine. I mean, there are people who go, I'm God. Well, they're a worry too for other reasons. So we're not going into that. But what I'm trying to say is the divine is within me. I have a soul. The soul brought me to earth to learn, to grow, to transform. And what is the actual agenda that my soul has? And there are some specific agendas that some souls have, and others have different agendas in terms of getting the skills of the embodied wisdom of certain specific areas. But we all have an agenda of what would love do
Yeah.
now? How would
Yeah.
love handle this situation? What would kindness look like right now to myself as well as to other people? What would compassion draw forth from me to others and to myself as well? So these, and there's a few others of a similar kind of thing, but it's a case of there will be a new beginning, and the new beginning will take place at a certain vibration of reality, depending upon how you churn yourself through the hero's journey of the change.
Mm.
If
I
we don't
was,
do, yeah,
listen, this is so, you can't, I'm walking down the stairs. I'm in a beautiful home, by the way. Linda's home is absolutely beautiful. The energy, the vibration, everything here. The kids were sleigh riding. It snowed. I'm not kidding. This is amazing. But I had a moment this morning. I get up early and she has stairs. And for, I don't know, 5 years, I've been on one level, right? Well, actually longer than that, but she has stairs. So I'm walking down the stairs this morning. So talk about needing to heal something. Here it is, to your point. I was taken back till about 2000, maybe 8 or 9, when I had visited Linda because I was so much pain.
Mm.
I couldn't walk and I had to bandage my entire body.
Wow.
I had to put this special lotion on to dull the pain. And this morning, going down the stairs, there's 2 levels. There's one, I went down and I had that moment of being that person. And then I had the realization, oh no, I'm not that person. My knees don't hurt. My body doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But you see, there's something else to learn there, right? Or I wouldn't have gotten that, would I?
Mm. Yeah, so it's just a little cellular memory. See, the body will often hold on to things that the mind, it's like the body is a guardian to stop the mind having to process too much at once. So the body takes it on. And then it's kind of like you almost have to coax the body into allowing a release of that trapped energy. And that's why I think energy healing is so important
Oh,
on the spiritual path. And there's many different kinds. So all of them, any of them, whatever appeals to you. And also I would suggest that what matters more than the modality is the individual who's wielding the modality and the consciousness of your healer.
mm,
Because the more evolved is the consciousness of your healer, the deeper they can go in helping you to release whatever you're
yeah,
holding. So I see that coach, that mentor, that guide on the spiritual journey as being super important, because
mm,
otherwise what happens is we do get lost. It's like getting lost in the weeds, or your boat is up on the rocks before you know it. And those rocks are the doubts, the fears, the insecurities, the blame, the shame, and all the things that disempower us when we're going through the turmoil of change. So we can disguise all of those things whilst we're focusing on an outwardly pleasant and agreeable life. We can look at our life circumstance and go, yes, everything's fine, I'm fine because my life is beautiful. But when that's taken away, either through war, through any kind of change of circumstance at all, you're on the hero's journey immediately.
yeah,
You just are. And so, for those of us that are not being challenged in that exact way at the moment, our job's to have compassion for, pray for, and help whatever way we
yeah.
can as our dharma. Yeah, and that's another question for another day. What is our dharma? We can talk about that because that's very much a mystery school topic as well. Where am I called to help? But at the moment, I'm saying that for ourselves, it's about processing whatever it's like you've got in an elevator shaft through this process. You've got into the change has put you in an elevator shaft in the elevator. It's like, well, are we going up or are we going down here? And sometimes you can lose the battle of what it is that you're involved in that is a terrible loss, like a marriage. You can lose that. Like, there's nothing I
Yeah.
can do to stay in a marriage with a person who doesn't want to stay in a marriage with me. That's just not. So to feel all the devastation, the feelings, you'll sink for a minute, but then with spiritual work and with good guidance and with good spiritual teachings to hold you, you can shoot through that upwards, and you can then start to realize, there was something in me that had gone a bit to sleep in that marriage. There's something in me that was not being fully activated. There's something in me that, it was easy, it was cozy, or it was, for some people, it was terrible, whatever it is. But we're suddenly able to see, who am I again? And how would I like my world to be on the other side of this calamity? And so there's a way in which, in the mysteries, the the nasty things that happen in life, even though we would never choose them, are doorways to better opportunities. It even says that at the beginning of the show each week, but it just is so important for us to keep remembering that we're on a journey. It's going to have ups and downs. And sometimes it's about, if someone's treating you badly, the ego's response is to treat them badly. If someone's being aggressive, that you just get aggressive back. If someone's shouting at you, you shout back. Well, on one level, you can see why that would happen. But on another level, it's about, interesting. this is actually a place for me to decide, is that me? Or am I actually better than that? And can I come from a place where I've got more peace inside me? Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily going to happen automatically. I'm saying it'll probably take some work. And then you can come to a place where sometimes the answer to move forward is not to fight for what you regard as yours, but to let go and to just let yourself move forward and like just
Mm.
stay out of all that. It's like, okay. So it might look to the outside world like you just lost, but through that you can find yourself. And that's actually a far better prize to be heading
Yeah.
for in the first place.
Now, I want to get back to the mystery schools because you've mentioned
Yeah.
them a couple of times, and I want folks
Mm.
to understand what
Yeah.
these teachings are and what you
Yeah.
do and what the mystery
Mm.
school does.
Yeah.
Because you said something, and it is one of the most important things I've learned in this. I like to, okay, I call myself a spiritual hitchhiker because there were things in my life, getting sober put me on a spiritual journey, getting to that place where my body didn't fit, put me to another level. But here's what I've learned. I've learned what you said. Working with the right people
Mm.
on the spiritual journey, that is one of the most important things for me. And
Mm.
what you all are doing to help people all over the world. See, what I love about what you've created is if you have not been sick, maybe my example, maybe you're not divorced, but let's talk about something else. How about your family?
Mm.
Are you in dispute with the family? It doesn't matter what the thing in that causes the disruption. But at the mystery schools, you provided platforms and teachers and mentors and coaches that
Mm.
know how to meet people where they are. And I
Yeah.
have to tell you, that's not true of
Mm.
other places. What
Right.
you're
Yeah.
doing is very special.
Well, it's very interactive. That's the thing. And, someone said recently, am I good enough to come to mystery school? And I thought, oh, you're a human being. You got a heart. You're keen to learn. That's all you need to come to mystery school is an inquiring mind
Mm,
and a desire to better yourself. That's all. And so as we go along, the teachings get more expanded, I suppose, but you need to have a foundation in
mm,
place. And so we do a lot to ensure that people have a strong foundation. And we have a series of workshops called The Path of Ease and Grace. And that's really our foundation. And they're online, but they're very Shaktified. So people receive transmissions during the programs all the time. And they find that their life will change because of the transmissions that our teachers have been trained for many years to provide to
mm.
people.
And how do
And so,
people
yeah,
find out about that? Can you let people know where they
yeah,
can go for that?
yeah. We have a website, shantimission.org, because the mission is peace, and finding peace within yourself is the mission. So on that website, you'll see a lot of different things,
Mm,
but we're about to open the mystery school at the moment, and starting tomorrow evening Sydney time, we've got a new intake for people who would like to register with us to come on a journey of
mm,
discovery and go beyond the normal teachings that you find in the world, and go on a deep
yeah.
journey that is spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, but where the divine comes and guides. So there's a saying in the Western mysteries that there's kind of like wearing a robe or a garment. That there's even songs in the esoteric Christian. I went down to the river to pray, and who's going to wear the starry crown, and who will wear the robe, and it's the robe of light. So what we're training people to do is to evolve into a place where they're wearing a robe of light, which means where the divine or one of the great archangels or a god or a goddess is actually flowing through that person to affect good in the world and to bring forth new messages of hope and goodness for people. So you have to start right at the beginning, and in the first classes, for the first few years actually, it's usually the teacher that wears the robe, but then by the end of the session, the everyone's feeling the garment. Everyone can
Mm.
feel the divine connection and the power of the presence, and then we just move from there. And Yeah, and it just depends every time what people need, and the classes are never the same twice because there's different people in them. And so, whilst there's a basic curriculum, which we keep coming back to because the basics, we just got to become masterful at the basics, and then everything else will grow from that. Because the last thing you want in a mystery school is to build castles in the air, because castles in the air means you're disconnected from reality. You're disconnected from what's
Yeah.
going on in the physical grounded world. And that's something we don't want. So it's interesting that to grow our consciousness, a lot of what we do is grounding.
Yeah.
Do a lot of grounding. And in fact,
Yeah.
at our ashram here in Australia, we got cows who are helping us be very grounded, because it's very grounding. Shoveling manure makes you quite grounded. You know what I
No
mean?
kidding. I know. When I moved
Yeah.
to Seattle, that's what I did. I exchanged getting horseback riding lessons for shoveling manure.
Yeah.
Um,
Great.
Thank you
Yeah.
for today. And again, would you leave us with a message for people that are listening to that something they could do now to help them? I know for me, you've reminded me again, my pathway to freedom is a spiritual pathway. All the rest
Yes.
is really an illusion for me. What
That pretty much is the message that I'd want to leave people with. So
okay.
thank you. It doesn't matter if it comes out of your mouth or my mouth, because it's the energy of the field right now. That's it. The journey is our spiritual journey, and everything else is just scenery. It's like
Yeah.
being in a movie. It might feel like a horror movie at one time, but then you move through it and you find, oh, you're in a different kind of movie. So yeah, you're
You
on a
know,
spiritual journey, and keep that in mind.
I am going to keep it in mind. And thank you for the reminder. It's kind of like being reminded back in New Jersey, you just don't order Hawaiian pizza here. It's just not spiritual.
Mhm. That's very
I
funny.
had a, I had the pizza guy tell me that the other day. So thank you for today. And thank you for allowing people to show up exactly where they are in life. And
Yeah.
that's our message
Mm,
for all of you. I want you to stay with this. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing.
mm,
You are amazing. And these
mm.
disruptions in life are the key to a doorway.
Yeah,
And that
that's right.
doorway will open up into something unimaginable for you.
Mm,
Thank you so much for
yeah.
today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pat. Thank you.
We'll see y'all next time.
Thank you for joining me for Mystery School, Ancient Wisdom for Everyday Life. Be the detective of your spirit and soul, and seek the doorways to a new reality. Take one insight from today and let it illuminate your path. Visit shantimission.org to learn more about our other programs, meditations, and resources for living with ease and grace, and sign up for our free Soulful Relationships Masterclass. In this class, we'll cleanse and purify the relationship energy in a key relationship in your life. Previous students have experienced rapid transformation in their marriages, in their relationships, with family, work colleagues, teenagers, just from this one practice. And you'll have a spiritual key to successful relationships that you can use again and again. Sign up for the free masterclass at shantimission.org. And we'll be back at 3 p.m. Pacific time every first and third Monday for Mystery School. Mark it in your calendar. We'll see you next time.